What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord, Dr. Professor, Dark Joker, with another edition of Where, Pick, and Dare, where I pick games for the various games that are occurring tomorrow. Whether it's football, baseball, basketball, basically whatever games I want to pick, I will pick them. With all that being said, on with the video. College football. Missouri Tigers versus Oklahoma Sooners. Missouri is a 35.9% chance to win, and Oklahoma is a 64.1% chance to win. This is at Oklahoma, so Missouri is 22 in the nation, 7-3 record. Oklahoma is 8 in the nation, 8-2 record. So this could be an interesting game. I mean, so with quarterbacks, you have Pribula for Missouri, 158 out of 227, 1685 yards, 11 touchdowns, 7 receptions. Mateer for Oklahoma, 184 out of 288, 2087 yards, 8 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. So, obviously neither quarterback is, you know, obviously there's a turnover issue there. Now, as far now, Mateer overall, you could say has been better. I mean, obviously there was the injury issue, but yeah. So this could be an interesting game. Could be low scoring. I think with it being at Oklahoma, I think Oklahoma will beat Missouri tomorrow. USC Trojans versus Oregon Ducks. USC has a 28.1% chance to win, and Oregon has a 71.9% chance to win. This is at Oregon. USC is 15 in the nation, 8-2 record. Oregon is 7 in the nation, 9-1 record. Yeah, so this could be an interesting game. So with quarterbacks, we have, Maava for USC, 201 out of 301, 68 yards, 18 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Moore for Oregon, 185 out of 254, 90 yards, 21 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. So yeah, this could be one of the better Big Ten games like this week, if not this year. So yeah, this is could be really good. Obviously, USC's had some issues with road games, but home field advantage has become so important with NIL, like bringing a lot of parity. Like the importance of home field advantage has just risen in significance. Like it just has. Like when you have NIL bring a lot of parity, when you don't have someone like Nick Saban who is a factor on his own. Like home field advantage is just such a big deal. So, and I think with this could be a good game. And obviously Lincoln Riley's done well with quarterbacks in his career. And so I think with this being at Oregon, I think Oregon beats USC tomorrow. Kentucky Wildcats versus Vanderbilt Commodores. Kentucky's a 23.5% chance to win. Vandy has a 76.5% chance to win. This is at Vandy. So Kentucky's unranked 5-5 record. Vanderbilt's 14 in nation, 8-2 record. The only reason I'm making a pick on this game is because the spread's only 8.5 for some reason. I get that it's Vanderbilt. Why the frick is the spread only 8.5? Whatever. So with quarterbacks, Bully for Kentucky, 159 out of 231, 1780 yards, 13 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Diego Pavia for Vandy, 191 out of 273, 2440 yards, 21 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Obviously, Pavia's the better quarterback. Like, you know, very obvious. Like, Vanderbilt is obviously the better team. It is not a question. Why the frick is the spread only 8.5? Needless to say, Vanderbilt beats Kentucky tomorrow. That shouldn't be a question. Arkansas Razorbacks versus Texas Longhorns. Arkansas is a 16.8% chance to win. Texas is a 83.2% chance to win. This is at Texas. So Arkansas is unranked with a 2-8 record. Texas is 17 in nation, 7-3 record. So yeah, the spread some reason only 8.5, and that's why I'm making a pick on this. I don't know why the spread's only 8 is that low. That is a low spread. You have I mean, you have a ranked 7-3 team as the home team and an unranked 2-8 team. Why the frick is the spread that low? Like that makes very little sense. Like I can't justify it with what. Anyway, so quarterbacks you have Green for Arkansas, 182 out of 293, 25, 37 yards, 19 touchdowns, 10 receptions. Arch Manning for Texas at 195 out of 311, 23, 74 yards, 19 touchdowns, 7 receptions. So I mean, some QB stats, obviously the yardage is comparable, the touchdowns are the same. It's the interceptions that definitely give some advantage to Arch Manning. Obviously, with Green being in double digits as far as like interceptions is concerned, and but with this being at Texas and Texas just being a lot better team than Arkansas, I cannot see how the spread's 8.5. Like Texas, I think will basically have a pig roast and basically turn Arkansas into a pile of bacon. Texas wins tomorrow. TCU Horned Frogs versus Houston Cougars. Um, TCU is a 53.2% chance to win, and Houston is a 46.8% chance to win. This is at Houston. So TCU is unranked 6-4 record. Houston's 23 the nation, 8-2 record. So the spread is 1.5 in favor of Houston. That's why I made a pick on this because it's that low. I guess with TCU giving the higher percent chance to win, I guess that makes sense. It's kind of weird. So with quarterbacks, you have Hoover for TCU, 229 out of 358, 28, 73 yards, 23 touchdowns, 10 receptions. Weigman for Houston, 168 out of 259, 21, 13 yards, 18 touchdowns, 10 receptions. So the yardage and the touchdowns is probably the reason TCU has a higher percent chance to win. And I'm guessing that's what it is. That'd just be my assumption. But yeah, so I mean, this could be a good game. Like TCU is generally like one of those like teams that can pull off an upset here and there. Like that what that like they're one of those teams in the Big 12 that for years could do that. So and of course they had that really good year with Sonny Dykes. But yeah, I think this could be a good game. I think with it being at Houston, I think Houston beats TCU tomorrow. Pittsburgh Panthers versus Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Pittsburgh has a 43% chance to win, and Georgia Tech has a 57% chance to win. This is at Georgia Tech, so Pittsburgh is unranked 7-3 record. Georgia Tech is 16 in the nation, 9-1 record. Yeah, so quarterbacks, you have Heinzel for Pittsburgh, 134 out of 217, 1673 yards, 12 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Haynes King for Georgia Tech, 184 out of 253, 2259 yards, 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So yeah, so obviously the interceptions, and yardage gives King the favor, the advantage as far as QBs goes. And obviously King is more famous as a runner than he is a passer. With 807 yards, 14 touchdowns, rushing. Like he has more rushing touchdowns than passing touchdowns. I mean, that's just how he is. He is more of a runner than a passer. Like if he wasn't injured, he would still be at Texas A&M right now, probably. If it wasn't for those injuries he got. But yeah, honestly, King's been one of the better quarterbacks Tech has had, in the past few years, which is a low bar to set. I mean, let's be real, they're still struggling to get off. Like they were struggling for years to transition from the triple option, you know. But yeah, this could be a good game. I think with it being at Tech. Now, well, let's be real. I don't think either fan base is very large. I mean, let's be real. Next week, there's probably gonna be more Georgia fans in Atlanta than Tech fans. I mean, just a fact, you know. And Pittsburgh, obviously, Pennsylvania's more of a pro football state than a college football state. So I mean, and as far as why I may pick for this, I mean the spread's only 2.5. This makes sense. Pittsburgh's usually one of your mid-tier ACC teams, can occasionally pull off an upset. But yeah, I think this could be a good one. But with this being at Tech, I think Georgia Tech beats Pittsburgh tomorrow. Tennessee Volunteers versus Florida Gators. Tennessee is a 65% chance to win, and Florida is a 35% chance to win. This is at Florida, so Tennessee is 20 nation 7-3 record. Florida is unranked 3-7 record. So Tennessee is favored by 3.5, which is why I'm making a pick on this game. And the reason it's 3.5 is because Tennessee's had some struggles in the swamp. Now, the swamp is one more difficult stadiums to play in if you're an away team. It just is. It's a fact. Like a lot of teams struggle in the swamp. Heck, Texas did. Mississippi State would have won if it wasn't for one of the most retarded interceptions ever. And then, yeah, so I mean, anyway, so as far as quarterbacks go, you have Aguiar for Tennessee, 212 out of 320, 29.41 yards, 22 touchdowns, 10 receptions. DJ Lagway for Florida, 187 out of 296, 1980 yards, 12 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. So obviously, Lagway is one of the worst quarterbacks in the SEC. Like he sucks objectively. Like I mean, frick, this is worse than Richardson. Like when he was at Florida, and he was pretty bad. He was pretty bad. Like holy crap. Like it was like that Anthony Richardson, like when he was at Florida, when he was, you know, the Colts were those retards with the Colts drafted him like, you know, gosh, they drafted him fourth overall, and he was like one of the worst quarterbacks in the freaking league in college. Like what the frick? Like gosh. Anyway, so and Richardson's been exposed to the pros. Anyway, so Lagway pretty freaking bad. Like he's bad. If he's worse than Anthony Richardson, he's freaking bad. So Aguilar obviously been one of the better quarterbacks in the SEC. So this is at Florida, and so some people think, yeah, that means Florida might win. Okay, yes, that's one of the tougher stadiums to play in. But it's like LSU. When you go to that stadium, you can throw out a lot of things like because that is a big home field advantage. But I think just the talent difference between Tennessee and Florida is so big that I think Tennessee will beat Florida tomorrow. Illinois fighting Illini versus Wisconsin Badgers. Illinois is a 71.8% chance to win, and Wisconsin is a 28.2% chance to win. This is at Wisconsin. So Illinois is 21 nation, 7-3 record. Wisconsin is unranked, 3-7 record. So the spread's only 9.5, and it's pretty low. It's not expecting that. Yeah, so with quarterbacks, you have Altmaier for Illinois, 195 out of 282, 24, 27 yards, 21 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. For Wisconsin, and so obviously they're having some QB issues, and so who knows? Obviously there's a thing with like basically Carter Smith is starting, and so we'll see how he does because he hasn't played much, so we'll see how he does, and obviously he's new, so that's gonna be a big struggle for them. The newer quarterback. Even though it's a home game, I mean, like I think like the spread should be higher. The spread should be higher. I think Illinois will beat Wisconsin tomorrow. BYU Cougars versus Cincinnati Bearcats. BYU is a 67.9% chance to win, and Cincinnati is a 32.1% chance to win. This is at Cincinnati, so BYU is 11 in the nation, a 9-1 record. Cincinnati's unranked 7-3 record. Yeah, so for quarterbacks, yeah, Bachmeyer for BYU, 172 out of 272, 21, 77 yards, 13 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Sorsby for Cincinnati, 159 out of 265, 22 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. So the spread for this is only 2.5 in favor of BYU. This could be interesting. Obviously, the QB advantage is definitely in favor of Cincinnati. So yeah, so this could be pretty good. Um, you know, I think that this could be an interesting game. I think BYU has the overall better team surrounding the quarterback, so I think BYU will beat Cincinnati tomorrow. Arizona State Sun Devils versus Colorado Buffaloes. Arizona State's a 63.2% chance to win. Colorado's a 36.8% chance to win. This is at Colorado. So Arizona State is 25 nations, 7-3 record. Colorado's unranked, 3-7 record. The spread somehow only 7.5 in favor of Arizona State. I know it's at Colorado, but what the heck? Now, with quarterbacks, you have Sean Levitt for Arizona State, 145 out of 239, 1628 yards, 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Keon Salter for Colorado, 113 out, 179, 1242 yards, 10 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Honestly, there's the whole issue with Levitt of he may leave, and that could affect how he plays. Maybe that's why some people are concerned about Arizona State's chances, but it's come on, Colorado's freaking trash this year. Like, come on, let's not act like they're good. I don't think they're going to beat Arizona State. So Arizona State, I think, will beat Colorado tomorrow. College women's basketball. Kentucky Wildcats versus Louisville Cardinals. Kentucky is a 60.6% chance to win, and Louisville is a 39.4% chance to win. This is at Louisville. So Kentucky is 20 nation, 6-0 record. Louisville is 21 nation, 4-1 record. So it could be a really good game. With stats, ESPN's not listing the ones that compare. So obviously taking look at them to see how they are, and pretty comparable, I would say. Some sets they look comparable, so this could be a really close game, as expected for teams with that close in ranking. Now, I think home field advantage will be the big thing here, so I think Louisville will beat Kentucky tomorrow. NBA. New York Knicks versus Orlando Magic. The Knicks have a 43.3% chance to win. The Magic have a 56.7% chance to win. This is at Orlando. For injuries, for the Knicks, Jalen Brunson and Kevin McCullough Jr. are game time decisions. OG Anunoby is out. For the Magic, Paolo Banchero and Moritz Wagner are out, and Colin Castleton is a game time decision. So for all the stats, the Knicks have more points per game uh, and points against. The Magic have a slightly higher field goal percentage. Knicks have more assists per game. Magic have more blocks per game and a slightly higher amount of steals per game. So pretty comparable stats I'm seeing. This could be a really close game. So I think home field advantage is going to be the big thing here. So I think the Magic will beat the Knicks tomorrow. Detroit Pistons versus Milwaukee Bucks. The Pistons have a 71% chance to win, and the Bucks have a 29% chance to win. This is at Milwaukee. Um, for injuries, for the Pistons, Jay and Ivy and Tobias Harris are game time decisions, and Bobby Klitman and Marcus Sasser are out. For the Bucks, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Taurean Prince, and Kevin Porter Jr. are all out. With stats, the Pistons have more points per game. Bucks have more points against and field goal percentage. Pistons have more rebounds per game, even and assists per game. Pistons have more blocks per game and steals per game. Those stats are close, pretty comparable. I think home field advantage is the big thing here. So I think the Bucks will beat the Pistons tomorrow. And that's it for picks. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to my picks. Do you agree with them? Do you not? If you have different picks, you can put them in the comments. But other than that, please like, subscribe, and all that. Thank you for listening, and look forward to the next video.